Hello, Phil Lindsay here with Peep Magazine, and we're here with the violent one, McCALLUM. Had his second fight about 6 weeks ago, and he's here for some promotion work. How have you been, first of all, since the fight, and what's the feedback been like?
I've been getting fat, basically.
Well, it's been Christmas.
It's been Christmas. It's amazing how quickly you can put the weight on, like, you know. But I knew that was coming. I knew it was needed, you know, after a few cancelled shows and things. So I enjoyed Christmas and straight back into it, you know. Start of this year, back in the gym. And, you know, fitness never really went anywhere, but the sharpness is coming back. And
timing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, sharpness and timing, 100%, you know. Fitness, I mean, it'll take a long time, I think, for your fitness to really dip. But,
yeah.
You know, but
about 30 years.
30 years.
I know, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'm 31 next week, so you know, getting on a bit on a old man in boxing.
Yeah, but going back to your fight though with Greg O'Neill,
right.
One thing you demonstrated there is you've got your man strength. You know, they talk about fighters coming through in their early fights and things, exactly, and it's like, oh, wait till he gets his man strength. Because Greg O'Neill was in great nick. He's a decent puncher himself. Yeah. What a fantastic fight.
It was great, yeah, loved it, absolutely loved it, every minute of it. And he came in, fantastic shape, you could just see that at the weigh-in, couldn't you? So big respect to him, you know. I've got a lot of respect for him. He obviously put the graft in, made the weight, and, you know, he came for a proper tear-up, didn't he?
It was one of those where, I think after going into the second round, obviously on commentary, it was like, surely this can't go 4 rounds the way it's going, because you are both brutalising each other.
Yeah.
And you're thinking when you see action like that, it's just a matter of time before it's like solid shot. Yeah. Eventually, one's going to make an impact. How did you feel in there in terms of, obviously we're just talking off camera, you're saying when you're taking those early shots,
I felt brilliant. I honestly, I felt absolutely brilliant the whole fight. Like I said, yeah, I didn't want to take 2, 3, 4 of his shots in a row, because I would have been troubled. Yeah. You know, anyone would have been, because he had a lot of power. But every shot I took off him, you know, I took it and I was fine. It sort of bounced off. But when I was hitting him, I was hurting him. I could feel him wincing. I could feel him tiring. I think in the third round he got a bit of a second wind. And he came back strong, you know. He came out strong that round. But in the fourth round, you can see me. If you watch it back, I'm on my toes, you know, and I'm boxing him. And you know, as soon as the bell went, my coach goes, "How do you feel?" I says, "I feel great. I got to do another 4 rounds." And I honestly could have. I knew I was fitter, you know. I knew I was stronger. I was hitting harder. And I thought I won every round. But watching it back, it looks a lot closer because we're fighting on the inside, where, you know, it can be a little bit scrappy at times, so it looks a lot closer.
Success, and when you're both having success,
it like looks a lot more even, doesn't it?
Well, you can have a lot of success in the first half of the round, and then there's a lot of action, and then you get towards the end of the round, and it's like, it's a lot to take in when it's if one boxer's more dominant than the other, you've just got to feel that one person's on top. But when both guys are giving it and taking it. Yeah,
well, I mean, as soon as the final bell went, in my head, I was like, I've won every round. You know, I've won every round because I'd felt him, you know, weakening. I'd felt him take me shots and wincing, like I say. A couple of times I thought I was going to stop him. But I never felt troubled once, you know. So in my head, I was like, I've won every round. But it was obviously a lot closer from an outsider's point of view, which was really interesting to watch it back, you know. I watched it back
with
loads.
the 4-rounder as well. Listen to my dulcet tones in there, exactly. I'm glad I didn't say anything bad in there, I tell you. But it's like, when you're in a 4-rounder, and like you say, it's 6 rounds, 8 rounds. Yeah. You've got more where you've got the opportunity to be on top more. Where with 4-rounders, you know, if you lose 1 round, you've got to win the other 3 to win.
Exactly.
There's not much room for error.
And ref gave me 3 rounds, 1 to him. It's still close, isn't it? When you think about it.
It is.
Because, you know, 1 more round to him, you know, if he caught us a couple more times or whatever, it's a draw.
Yeah.
So, you're right, you know. But yeah, I was happy with it. Really happy.
So that's your second fight. What's the plans moving forward?
So 26th of February, first 6-rounder against tough journeyman Lewis Van Pooch or Potch.
Oh yeah, I know him.
He's had a lot of fights, hasn't he? He's boxed everyone at super middleweight and light heavyweight.
And he knows how to look after himself.
He certainly does, so it's a perfect fight, really, for me, first 6-rounder. Perfect learning fight.
Especially at the age you're at, there's no major hurry. You don't want to drag your heels, you want to be stepping up. But I think one of the key things when you're getting the experience, it's having meaningful fights, like first 6-rounder, your first southpaw. You're going to have different styles of fighters that you think, hang on, I've struggled against these in sparring, this is what I need to work on in my career. And it's getting those meaningful fights, and I think having your first 6-rounder, that ticks a box as well.
Definitely, yeah, 100%. Get him out of the way. I think I'm going to box in March, another 6-rounder probably. Maybe he's then an 8-rounder. So I've had one 8-rounder, and then definitely, I mean, the goal is an area title this year. Win an area title, best in the north of England, and we'll look to step it up again. English title, maybe he's British Masters. I don't know. But
well, maybe there's a red rag there for Greg O'Neill, because he said it was a good competitive fight.
I think he'd fancy it. He would definitely fancy it, I think, because, I didn't stop the lad or anything. It wasn't completely clear cut, was it?
And so, being obviously over 10 rounds, it's a different tactical fight compared to a 4-round fight.
Completely, aye. So, has he got it in his arsenal to pace himself? Or is he going to come out all guns blazing again? Because you couldn't keep that pace. None of us could for 10 rounds. We just couldn't.
Impossible.
Someone's getting knocked out. Simple as that. I mean, what a fight for the fans. If we did both just gone at it and have a war again for 10 runs, But,
as long as it lasted.
But, I knew I couldn't box like that. Couldn't fight like that for 10 rounds, so I've got to change it up,
But that's, he would know part of the learning curve. It's fighting under those, like I say, it's different tests.
Again, though, I felt his power in the first round, and I thought, do you know what it is? I can take this for 4 rounds. And he put it on strong on us, and I thought, I'm just going to meet him in the middle, and I'm just going to have a tear up. I loved it. Absolutely loved every minute of it.
But at the same point, when you started thinking about that a bit more movement, boxing a bit more, particularly in the 4th round. It's like against the level of skillful boxer that Greg O'Neill is. You can see why MTK is obviously taking an interest in you.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, like you as a man, I think you're a lovely bloke and all that, but it's you've got to have skills for them to.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting started. I think is that my dog?
I think so. Yeah.
Brought me dog for the photo shoot now. But yes, you've got to have something about you, haven't you? And I feel like. This year is going to be my year. I've got momentum. Yeah. Got some great people behind us.
Fights.
Yes. Like I say, I'm going to box in February, box in March. If there's a show in April, I want on it. I'm going to be fit for every. I'm just going to be fit constantly. There'll be no dip, and there'll be no. Let's have a few weeks off after this fight in February, and we've gone out on the drink a bit. Nah. And I've got it's just a total different mindset. I've got the. It's a way of life now. It's not just a hobby. It's a way of life.
Yeah. It's an investment.
100%. I want to be fit as I can be all the time, sharp, ready to fight. I get a phone call, do you want to box in a couple of days? 100%, I'm on it.
Well, I've always said boxing, the boxing ring, it's a very, very lonely place to be if you're not in condition. I've never boxed. I was county squash champion as a kid, and you've got to be fit to play squash. But if you're playing against somebody fitter than you, and you start running out of energy on the squash court, the only thing that hurts is your lungs. Whereas if you're in the boxing ring, you start running out of energy, it's a lonely place to be.
I would honestly argue that there's probably not many people fitter than me. I honestly believe that. Because, I've run up mountains as a hobby, I tell you this last time. And how many people do that? I'm always training every single day.
It's the calves as well, you've got
the calves, aye. Oh, it's nice. Aye. Cut ice his calves,
exactly.
But yeah, I think that's a mindset you've got to have. And again, going back to that fight, I knew I was fitter. I could tell. I was getting stronger as the rounds go on, and I do that in sparring. So 6-round fights are only going to work in my favour. And that's the way. And more, yes, of course. 8 rounds, 10 rounds. It's pretty daunting thought, 10 rounds. It's a lot. 10
yeah,
threes.
But he's got to do that 10
He's got to
rounds
do it
with
as well.
you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the
Oh, no,
that's the
I know.
psychology.
But this is boxing. And do you know what it is? 4 rounds used to be daunting when I was boxing in the licence, 4 threes.
Yeah.
Unlicensed was what? 4 twos, 5 twos or something like that. No, it's a minimum of 6 rounds in sparring. 8 rounds. So I do it in sparring anyway. So it's just learning and building it up
again and again and again. So it's you don't have those little seeds of elements of doubt when you're going in there. It's like, I've done
Don't
this.
have any doubt.
And that's what happened with the O'Neill fight. You knew 100%. In there, you knew
There's
you'd put
no
it in.
doubt whatsoever. No doubt in my mind. That's why I was so happy to watch it back straight away. My pro debut, I hated it. I hated my performance. And even now I'm like, I didn't even want to watch it back. But I couldn't wait, to watch this back because I was happy. I was really happy with my performance. I was quite proud, So that's progress as well, isn't it?
And it reaches progress.
Yeah.
But it's 2022. 2022, the future, it's unwritten. Certainly. To a degree, it's unknown. Yeah. But you've got exciting opportunities this year. And like you say, fight in February, fight in March. You've got to see how those fights go before you can plan too far ahead.
Exactly.
But in terms of the pandemic, the lockdown, all these different things, it's looking like you're going to be getting the opportunities to fight regular, and that's all you can really hope for at this point.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Get us out as much as I can, but take one fight at a time. Certainly didn't want to plan too much. I'm not going to plan a fight, not November or something.
Well, you've got the,
you know what I mean?
You've got the Pooch next.
The Pooch. Is it Pooch? Is that how we say his name? Lewis Van
Pooch. Yeah, I think it is. But it's basically, you've got the Pooch here today as well.
I've got the Pooch here today. Yappy bloody thing.
But you can watch his fights. You can see what sort of boxer he is. You can think what I need to be working on, so you can take it, you can prepare that. I think when you're coming through with your early fights, a lot of the time it's last minute opponents. You don't know who you're going to be fighting. Whereas if you've got you know who you're fighting and you know what sort of skills they sort of bring. Yeah. You can work on certain things in the training before the fight, as opposed to just working on you standardly. That can help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll study this kid. He's a completely, totally different fighter, Greg O'Neill, and you've got to really adapt, because these lads, if you go out trying to swing at these journeymen, he's so experienced. He's had like 150 fights, maybe he's more, as a professional. Yeah. So he's so experienced that lasting the rounds, lasting the fight.
Just you'll make the punching line, just a little.
You'll make yourself look like an idiot, and he could catch you. So you've got to completely change your style, completely adapt. And I will. It's a good learning fight, really good.
Different game plan going in.
Yeah.
Different challenge.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Matt McCallum, though, fantastic first time I've seen you fight. Absolutely wonderful.
Cheers,
looking forward to the next one. I'll be ringside calling it, I would expect.
Good man.
But 2022, keep your eye on this fella, Matt Stark McCallum. Bless you, mate. Top man.
Cheers.